I've put together a short video to see what's involved in setting up an event. This one's particularly sort of referencing the 25th of July Matthew fundraiser, but it'll act as an example of what might need to be done in future. The way to get there is to log on, and once you get there, go to CiviCRM and then go into the events tab, and under events you can see you can either create a new event, or in my case I've already started this particular one, so I can just go down and click on this particular event. If I click on configure, it'll allow me to set it up. This participants page allows us to find out who's registered and attending, and in the process see no shows, etc. And we can also provide a public listing so that people can see who's going if we want to. But we'll come to all of that later. First of all, let's have a look at configuration. So if we click on configuration, first thing we do is we go to information and settings. In this case, I've already started to set it up, and I've set it up as a paid event. I've called it a social event. You can set these up to whatever you want. We're dealing with attendees rather than volunteers. And on the participant listing, we can show maybe just name and email only. We need an event title, and I'm expecting Peter Dawson or someone to provide me with this sort of information. We also need an event summary, so we need some text that describes this event, and this summary will go on the page when people start to see when they start to register and pay. We also need a complete description, so someone needs to provide me with the full details of this event. The start date is 25th of July and it finishes on the 25th of July. I need to know the time when it starts and finishes. I've assumed 7 till 11:30. I also need to know the maximum number of participants. So if we don't have a maximum, that's fine, but I'm sure in this case we do. And what are we going to say to them if they try and register when we're already booked? I've suggested we just say the function is sold out. You may well want to say something else. Excuse me. I suggest we include a map to the event location so that people can find it. We make it public, which means that it'll be shown on iCal calendars and God knows what. We allow people to share through media so they can like this event and perform those sorts of activities. And at the moment I've got this event set as active only because we need to test drive it at some stage. The link to go to this event is shown here. So when you are entering or setting up something on a flyer or in a web page, and you want people to be able to click and go to this particular registration of an event, that's the link that you need to provide them. So that's page 1, and I need the information that I've already described there. So we'll save that. And now we can go to page 2, and page 2 says what's the location. I've set it up as RACV 501 Burke Street, which I think is the correct address. Now the emails are required so that people who want to ask questions about this need to be able to send an email to someone. Can you provide me with the emails that you want to include? It looks as if we can have 2. And also provide me with the telephone numbers if people want to telephone. I've said yes, we will show the location of the event, which seems to me to be a pretty sensible thing to do. So the next thing we can do is go to fees, and under fees it's a paid event. We're using Australian currency. I'm using our eWay payment gateway. We also have a PayPal gateway, but it costs us more per transaction. So I'm assuming we're going to use the eWay gateway. We can enable a pay later option, and if we do, we can enter a label, we can give them instructions, which would be essentially perhaps our BSB, or how to send us a check, and so on and so forth. It will tell us what the details are in terms of the label, and I've chosen to set that off at the moment. I think it just complicates the matter in terms of collection. If people are going to register, let's get them to pay on the spot by credit card. So the label here, I've called it Matthew Vosa Dinner. This is essentially for fees that go into our account, so Bronwyn knows what's going on. The financial type will be an event fee as opposed to a membership or sponsorship and so on. And price set, I have not got a price set because we're going to say what the fee should be here. The label I'm just going to call per ticket, and I'm not sure what the value is, but someone can perhaps let me know. I've written $165. I think that's roughly right, but I need the precise details. We're not going to provide any discounts by the sign-up date, so we can just leave it at that. So if I click Save on that, we then go to the online registration process. So the link, first of all, we allow an online registration process. The link will say book your ticket now, not new ticket now. We'll start the registration straight away. Now, the date when registration ends, I need someone to tell me when that is. It'll end when it's full, so if we get more than, or the maximum number of people, then people won't be able to register anyway. But I've set it at a week prior to the 25th of July because I presume you need to provide information to the venue and so on, but I need to have that information. Can we register multiple participants? And I've said yes, we can. And do we allow the same email address? And yes, we will. Duplicate matching rule. Well, when people come to an event, if we haven't seen them before, we'll actually record their details, but we won't record them if they're already on file. So the matching event, or the matching rule we're going to use, is if the first name and the last name are the same, then we won't regard them as a new one. We'll regard them as a duplicate. We could use last and date of birth, but we're not going to ask them to enter their date of birth. So I think last and first name is good enough. Here, the time limit in hours for confirming or finishing the registration process, I've chosen to leave this empty, but we could say that if you haven't finished your registration within 30 minutes, then it'll expire. We need to think about that because we're dealing with a maximum number of participants or attendees, so we don't want someone just to leave open a registration process. It might be best to say 1 hour here, but I would like someone to tell me what they think about that. Now, on the registration screen, we need some introductory text. What do you want to say to people when they register? So someone needs to provide me with the text that you want to display to people. We also need to determine what information we're going to ask them for. Now, in this case, I've assumed we'll ask them for their first name, last name, and email address, mandatory, and if they give us their phone numbers, all well and good. We could ask them for a whole range of different things, but I think that's all we need. So we then need, if they're going to add additional people, what information do we want about the additional people? Well, I've said we only need their first name and last name. So in the case of a husband and wife, we want the details of either the husband or the wife, whoever's actually entering the registration. So we want an email address at least. But for their spouse, we just want to know their name and their first name and surname. So I just want someone to tell me that that is what they want. Now, the only other thing we'll need is on this bit of information here, we will need to add dietary requirements, and I will do that so that there will be a box here for dietary requirements, both on this contact details and also for the additional people. So they'd enter their first and last name as well as any dietary requirements that they have. Okay, we then need to determine what the text is on the confirmation screen. So what happens, they register and then we say, well, are you really sure? And we need to ask them something about what do they want to do to confirm their booking. We could just say, click below to confirm your booking, or if you don't want to proceed, then click here and go back to the website, something like that. But I need someone to tell me what you want said there. Once they've registered, or once they've confirmed, then we want to say thank you, which will be an on-screen thank you, and someone needs to tell me what text they want to put there as well. Now, the confirmation email, this is what we will send them as a result of their registration, and automatically we'll send them event dates, location, contact information, and also a receipt for their payment. All you have to do, put in here in text, is if you want anything added to that. So if you don't want to add any text to the standard confirmation email, then you don't need to enter anything there. Now, we need to specify the name that's going to be on the email. It could be Chair of Social Committee, it could be Peter Dawson, it could be Jeremy Raymond, it can be whatever you want. However, the email address, the from email address, needs to be specified. I've suggested it comes from chairsocialquins.com.au. And now, who do you want to send confirmation emails to? Probably Bronwyn, but maybe others, I don't know. And do you want them shown as a CC, or do you want them in the blind confirmation? So I need that information as well. Once we've got all that, we're done. Then what will happen, we can go and have a look at this and see what actually takes place. So I'm going to do a test drive. And in a test drive, you see this yellow stuff up the top. You won't see that on a full live site, but you will see welcome so-and-so, and if you're not that so-and-so, register a different person. Now, typically, the people coming here won't actually be logged on to our website, so we won't know who they are. So none of this information will be filled in. The reason that it's filled in at the moment is because I am actually logged on to our website, so it knows who I am, so it's able to populate this data. Now, if we're getting people to register and they are logged on, okay, it just makes it easier for them because they don't have to enter any details again. So here we go. How many people do we want to register? Let's just say we'll register 2. The first name, this is who I am. It'll 165 per ticket. Now I need to enter, or they will need to enter a card number. In this case, I'll enter these test card numbers. I think the security code is anything. The month, I think, has to be any month later than the current date. The billing address, this is the credit card information. Once again, it fills it in, and I can now say continue. Now, it's then asking me to enter the name of the additional person. So I'll just enter, Jennifer. And they will also be buying a ticket, and we'll continue. We could skip that if we don't, if we had said we want to and we've now changed our minds. So we'll continue. Okay, so now it says you can say something up here about, thanks for your booking. This is what they see, when it is, where it is, who to contact, who the tickets are for, the total amount, the contact details, participant 1 and 2, and the information. And here they can say that they want to continue. All right, so this is essentially confirming that they want to proceed, and will now continue. So the registration has finalised, it's been processed successfully. Here is some text that I want you to tell me what you want to say when they've finalised their booking. It gives them the event information again, all the details, the transaction date, and so on and so forth. And I've also suggested that we allow them to put it on their calendar and also spread the word, so they can like this if they wish, and they can share the link below if they wish. Seems to me to be fairly sensible to do that. So once that's happened, it's finished. Now you may have heard that my thing dinged, and I actually have a receipt, and I'm not quite sure how to show you that. Maybe I could bring it over into... No, well, perhaps I'll send it to you, but it gives the receipt actually is sent to me, and it gives me all the information I want. So that's essentially what we need to do. The receipt is the format of the ticket that confirms that someone is able to come and has paid their money. So that's pretty much it. So could you kindly get back to me with all of the information that I've asked for as we go through that process, and let me know how you feel about all that. Cheers.